Hi everyone, it's a beautiful day and I hope you are all having a great time at the comfort of your own home. This is Teacher Kevin Domingo once again, your kind of K. We can go serious. We can go funny. We can go real. We can go fancy. But every time I teach, I do it with sincerity. This is DepEd TV! Last time, we talked about species extinction and we related it with the failure of populations of organisms to adjust to abrupt changes in the environment. We also discussed that although extinction is a normal part of evolution, rapid human modifications on the planet have caused the extinction of more species at an accelerated rate. We also learned about some extinct species that once roamed our land and lived in our country. Finally, we discovered that all species play a vital role in the ecosystem through the food web. Wow! There were really interesting topics we've discussed last episode. And I remembered giving you an activity to make your advocacy board with the programs or projects that you would like to propose to avoid extinctions of human beings.
And here are the works of the 3 grade 9 learners about their advocacies.
Good job, students! Today, we will be talking about 2 important biological reactions that almost all organisms in this planet use. These are photosynthesis and cellular respiration. In this episode, we shall know each one of them. Then later on, we shall compare them. The question is, why are plants so important to us? The plant kingdom plays a crucial role in the life cycle of all living things for the following reasons. First, it is a source of food for almost all organisms in the planet. Second, it provides resources for humans with aesthetic and economic benefits such as provision for medicine, firewood, fibers, oils, rubber, and many more. Third, it provides habitats for different organisms. Do you know that a single tree can provide food and shelter to many species of insects, worms, small mammals, birds, and reptiles? Fourth, because of its role in the biogeochemical cycles. An example of this is the process of transpiration, where plants move water from the soil to the atmosphere. And fifth, it maintains the Earth's atmosphere through photosynthesis. Oxygen is essential for cellular respiration for all aerobic organisms. It also maintains the ozone layer that helps protect Earth's life from the damaging UV radiation. Removal of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere reduces the greenhouse effect and global warming.
Plants and trees are very important. Aside from the fact that they give color and beauty to our surroundings, they also provide us shelter, food, clothing, and sometimes they can also be our sources of income. Hello there to all our dear plantitos and plantitas. More so, they perform a very important role in our lives. Do you know that the role where I refer to? They give off oxygen that we need.
But how do plants give off oxygen? They do it through the biological reaction of photosynthesis. This is made possible when plants take in carbon dioxide and water from the air and soil. Within the plant cell, the water is oxidized, meaning it loses electrons, while the carbon dioxide is reduced, meaning it gains electrons. This transforms the water into oxygen and the carbon dioxide into glucose. The plant then releases the oxygen back to the air and stores energy within the glucose molecules. Photosynthesis is a process of making food for plants. It involves the following: energy from the sun, water, carbon dioxide. It will give off oxygen and will also make simple sugar like glucose. It may look simple, but it's a bit complex. Let us try to look at the sun. It gives a variety of types of energy such as radio wave, microwave, infrared, visible, ultraviolet, X-ray, and gamma rays. But we will be focusing on the visible light because it is the wavelength of visible light that drives and powers photosynthesis. Visible light is also called white light. It is actually a mixture of RGB, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, or the colors of the rainbow. How is it so? Try to use a white light in a prism and a rainbow will appear. Look at this example. A blue shirt appears blue because all the blue color is reflected into our eyes and the other colors are absorbed. A white shirt appears white because all the color is reflected into our eyes and nothing gets absorbed. A black shirt appears black because all the color is absorbed and nothing is reflected into our eyes. The same thing, the color of the leaves appear green because it will reflect the green wavelength and will be absorbed by the leaves. And that is what powers photosynthesis. We should remember that photosynthesis is a process that converts solar energy into glucose. This formula outlines photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide plus water in the presence of sunlight will yield glucose and oxygen. Where carbon dioxide and water are the reactants and glucose and oxygen are the byproducts. Photosynthesis has two major steps: the photo part and the synthesis part. The photo part is going to encompass the light-dependent reactions, and the synthesis part is going to be the light-independent reaction or the Calvin cycle. Did you get it, grade 9 learners? Let us first discuss what a chloroplast is. The chloroplast is an organelle that carries out photosynthesis. Let us look at each part of the chloroplast. Inside the chloroplast are thylakoids. It contains the green pigment of the plant responsible for light absorption called chlorophyll. One stack of thylakoid is called the granum. Multiple stacks of granum is called the grana. The lumen is the fluid inside the thylakoid. The stroma is the fluid inside the chloroplast. The chloroplast has two membranes called the inner membrane and the outer membrane, while the space between them is called the intermembrane space. Photosynthesis has two stages: the light-dependent reactions, which covers the photo part, and the light-independent reactions, or the Calvin cycle, also known as the dark reactions. The light-dependent reactions happen at the thylakoids within the chloroplast. The light-independent reactions, or the Calvin cycle, however, occurs inside the stroma of the chloroplast. Why is it called a light-independent reactions? It is because it can proceed even without light energy. The light-dependent reactions oxidizes water into oxygen gas. Oops! The word oxidize makes me think of the word oxidation. Oxidation involves the loss of electrons, so whenever there is oxidation, there is always a reduction reaction. It is picked up by the nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate, or in short, NADP+. Where will NADP+ bring the electrons? It will be brought to the NADPH, or the reduced form of NADP+. Some of the energy transferred by light is used to make adenosine triphosphate, or ATP, from ADP and phosphate. ATP is produced by chemiosmosis using an enzyme called ATP synthase. The products of light-dependent reactions are oxygen gas, ATP, and NADPH, while the reactants are the following: water, NADP+, and ADP plus P. Now, let us proceed to the light-independent reactions, or the Calvin cycle, also known as the dark reactions. In this type of reaction, it takes in carbon dioxide and reduces it into glucose. Carbon dioxide turned into glucose is a reductive process, meaning to say, there must be an oxidation process. How? This time, NADPH gives up its electrons and NADP+ will gain it. Carbon dioxide will receive its electrons and eventually turn it into glucose. What powers the Calvin cycle? ATP is responsible for powering the Calvin cycle process. In this process, the ATP is converted back into ADP plus P. So, in the Calvin cycle, the reactants are carbon dioxide, ATP, and NADPH, while the products are glucose, NADP+, ADP plus B. To clearly understand the processes involved in photosynthesis, let us simplify things by comparing the light-dependent and light-independent reactions. First of all, let's talk about the differences between the two. The first difference, the two reactions happen in different places. The light-dependent reactions happen in the thylakoid, while the light-independent reactions happen in the stroma. Another point of contrast: light-dependent reactions require energy from the sun, while light-independent reactions can happen without the sun's energy. They also differ as far as their reactants and products are concerned. The reactants of light-dependent reactions are water, NADP+, and ADP, and phosphorus, while the products of the light-independent reactions are glucose, NAD+, and ADP plus P. And now, let's go to their similarities. Both of them require ATP. Both of them generate ATP. Both of them utilize the electron transport chain through oxidation reduction. Both of them utilize the ATP synthase to power them. Now, it's time for you to test yourself. Read each question carefully, then write the letter of your answer on a sheet of paper. Question number 1. Which of the following are the products of photosynthesis? A. Water and carbon dioxide. B. Glucose and oxygen. C. Carbon dioxide and glucose. Or D. Oxygen and water. Question number 2. Light energy is absorbed by A. Thylakoid, B. Grana, C. Chlorophyll, or D. Intermembrane space? Question number 3. In what organelle of a plant cell does photosynthesis take place? A. Nucleus, B. Mitochondria, C. Cytoplasm, or D. Chloroplast? Question number 4. Which of the following is not true of the Calvin cycle? A. It requires sunlight. B. It happens at night. C. It takes in carbon dioxide and reduces it into glucose. Or D. It uses ATP. Question number 5. What is the standard formula of photosynthesis? A. 6 atoms of carbon dioxide plus 6 atoms of water will yield glucose plus 6 atoms of oxygen. B. 6 atoms of carbon dioxide plus 6 atoms of water will yield glucose plus 6 atoms of water. C. 6 atoms of carbon dioxide plus 6 atoms of water will yield glucose plus 6 atoms of oxygen. Or D. 6 atoms of carbon dioxide plus 6 atoms of carbon dioxide will yield glucose plus 6 atoms of oxygen.
Hands up! Let us answer the questions.
Question number 1. Which of the following are the products of photosynthesis? The answer is letter B. Glucose and oxygen. Question number 2. Light energy is absorbed by? The answer is C. Chlorophyll. Question number 3. What organelle of a plant cell does photosynthesis take place? The answer is D. Chloroplast. Question number 4. Which of the following is not true of the Calvin cycle? The answer is letter A. It requires sunlight. Question number 5. What is the standard formula of photosynthesis? The answer is letter A. 6 atoms of carbon dioxide plus 6 atoms of water will yield glucose plus 6 atoms of oxygen.
How many of you got the correct answers for all the items? For those who did not get to answer everything correctly, you just need to remember that there is always a room for improvement. Just keep on trying. Indeed, there is much more to learn and much more to explore and discover. I will see you again for another episode of Your Kind of K. This is Teacher Kevin A. Domingo and you are watching DepEd TV.